Coming up on today's episode, we talk about why the 76ers, after a big win over the Miami Heat on Monday night, cannot overlook the 31-41 Los Angeles Lakers to start off this three-game road trip next, right here on Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are Locked On 76ers. I'm Devon Givens from 97.5 The Fanatic Radio in Philadelphia, alongside my co-host, my partner, Keith Pompey, Sixers beat writer for the Inquirer.com. Thanks for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On 76ers is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On 76ers. Keith, pass me the rock, man. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, bro? I'm getting ready to cover this game tonight.
Get ready for this game, yeah.
Get ready for this game. Get ready for this three-game road trip. But everything's good. Everything's good. I'm excited, man. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see what the Sixers are going to do on this road trip. They open up with the Lakers tonight. Then on Friday they play the Clippers, and then on Sunday they go to the Phoenix Suns. So, I'm really excited about this trip.
I think you and many other 76er fans are, myself included, as we get ready for this road trip. There's a lot of storylines in it. And as we look at 11 games remaining on the schedule, we're going to consistently throw that out there and just tell people how many games are left in the season. Season closes on April 10th. So all these games are very, very important. Beginning tonight with a 31-41 Los Angeles Lakers coming back off of a 4-game road trip on the East Coast. They picked up 2 wins against the Toronto Raptors, and their last being the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. And listen, man, this is an important one for this one. Cannot overlook this Laker team that has been struggling all season long, but now that they have these 2 games, just like the Sixers are trying to use their momentum coming off of the Miami win, the Lakers are trying to do the same thing following their Cleveland win.
Yeah, I mean, they're really trying to do that. You look at it, it's funny. Every time I watch the Lakers, I keep looking at LeBron and seeing, what he's doing. And he's having a phenomenal season, just like Joel Embiid is. And the thing about the Sixers, when we talk about overlooking teams, D, how many times have we looked at the Sixers and we said to ourselves, they have arrived? Like, this is the team. They're ready. They're going to do something. And then they lay an egg, right? And this is a game that could happen if they're not careful. I mean, you look at it. The Lakers, like you said, they beat Toronto 128-123 in overtime. They lost to the Washington Wizards, but then they beat Cleveland. So, 2 of the teams that they beat were in the Eastern Conference teams, battling for a playoff seed. So they are a formidable foe, but you can't get caught up on the Russell Westbrook, calling them Westbrick, all that hype. You know what I mean? You just can't, because, you're going to go to L.A. It's going to be beautiful, great weather, the palm trees, la la land. And next thing you know, you can get smacked in the mouth if you're not 100% focused and ready to play.
Yeah, being there for 4 days, Keith, being there from Tuesday to Saturday, where they'll leave to head to Phoenix. We know, when we often talk about going and traveling to Miami, traveling to New York, whether it's against the Knicks or the Nets, and getting caught up in everything else that's not basketball, you cannot go out there and allow yourself to, as you mentioned, lose focus on the task at hand. And with 11 games, as we've talked about, and 2 here that will be knocked off during this road trip in Los Angeles, they have to stay super focused on what they need to do, the task at hand, which is to pick up these W's, continue to pile those up. I understand that a lot of people, Keith, are talking about watching where the other teams are in the East to try to avoid, so you can set up your potential matchups in the postseason. Everybody's so bunched up, we don't know what's going to happen. So do your part. And if you can pick up the win, you pick up the win. You lace them up when you get to the playoffs. That's my mentality. That's how I look at it. I understand you might want to play the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Chicago Bulls. Ideally, you want to play the Detroit Pistons, but they're not available. So you have to go out there and do what you need to do with that path on the way to the postseason. And with LeBron James playing at such a high level right now, Keith, even though he doesn't have Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook not playing at the level in which they thought they were going to get that player from in the offseason when they brought him in, they have to pay attention. It's LeBron James. He's back at home. They need to make sure that they are locked in for this game, especially with Embiid and Harden potentially ready to go tonight.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Now, look, I'm going to say this to you, right? And so this whole trip is set up crazy. So do you know that the Clippers, the Suns, and the Lakers are the teams in that order that Joel Embiid averages the most points against, right?
Clippers, Suns, and Lakers?
Clippers, Suns, and Lakers, right? So
well, he's had one of his best games ever in my career, in my time watching him. The Laker game in 2017, where he was phenomenal. That's arguably the best game for me against the LA Lakers. So he does step up against LA. You're right.
Yeah, but you know what? That's like he steps up against them. So look, here we go. So we're going to talk about this, and this is going to be key. Like he's a guy, like we talk about guys that like losing focus. He loves playing in it, and what used to be called Staples Center, Staples Center. What's it called? Bitcoin?
Crypto.
Oh, crypto. All right,
Crypto.com. Yeah, there you go. I got you.
Crypto. So look, Embiid is averaging against the Lakers. He played the Lakers 7 times. He's averaging 30.4 points, 9.4 rebounds, and 5 assists, right? From the field, Joel is shooting 54%. He's shooting 40.7% from 3. Now, again, I know that because I teased the other ones, I'm just going to, talk to you about the other ones, right? So against the Clippers, Joel is averaging a career best 33.1 points, 14.3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Now, you may say, well, how many times did he play him, Keith? Just like the Lakers, he played the Clippers 7 times. He's shooting 50% from the field, 35.3% from 3. And now let's go to Phoenix. So he's played the Phoenix Suns 9 times. Joel is averaging 31 points, 11.9 rebounds, 2.4 assists. He is shooting, crazy,
he's
right?
Feasting on these front courts. Yeah,
he's feasting on these dudes. He's shooting 53.4%, 37.5% on 3. So, this is one guy that's going to be motivated and fired up, especially for the first game, to put his thing down.
And look, let's call it the last game when they won. The Lakers did against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They beat them in Cleveland, 131-120. The starting center for the Lakers is Dwight Howard. I personally enjoyed Dwight's time when he was in Philadelphia. He drove me nuts from time to time with those technical fouls, situations like that. But he can block some shots. But I don't know that he's in the place where he can slow down Joel Embiid. The level of Joel Embiid is playing the last 2 seasons. So between that, having Dwight Howard at the center position, Wayne Gabriel, maybe mixing in some time there. LeBron James plays the 5 for the Los Angeles Lakers. Keith, that number that you put up there of 30-plus points for Joel Embiid against the Los Angeles Lakers, there's no reason why we shouldn't believe that cannot happen and will not happen again tonight against that defense.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, but now the key is, though, I think that if I'm Dwight Howard, I mean, let's keep it 100. I'm trying to frustrate Embiid. I'm trying to get underneath his skin. I'm trying to do this in a playful way, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
because Dwight, don't get me wrong, Dwight is, you look at him, a chiseled dude, but Embiid's a big man. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, he's a huge individual, yeah.
He's a huge individual. Like, whoa. It's funny when you go on the road and you hear people like, look at him. I didn't know he was that big. Like, yeah, he's really that big. But
yeah, right.
So I think it's going to be just like get a little physical with him under the skin, but at the same time, Father Time always takes over. Like Dwight's in great shape, but it's not Dwight from back in the day, right? It's not Dwight from back in the day. So yeah, it's easy to see and say that, you know, Embiid is going to come out here and he's going to, you know, feast on them like he typically does. I mean, you know, and it's crazy the fact that, you know, like you said, the Lakers are undermanned a little bit, but you know, I think the key to that game is going to see what they do against Embiid. That's the key.
Yeah, sure. LeBron James, 38, 11 boards, 12 assists in 41 minutes in the win over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Russell Westbrook and DJ Augustine, one of the buyout pickups for the Lakers, each with 20 apiece in the game. And Stanley Johnson, Malik Monk, 12 points as well for the Los Angeles Lakers. So a situation again for the Sixers to pick up a W on the road. They have to be careful not taking this opponent lightly at 31-41. And Keith, next, we'll also talk about the game within the game. Two former teammates, two former friends. I'm not going to say former friends, but two friends back in LA together playing against one another. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Keith, going up against one another in this key game for the Sixers and the Lakers, where they are in a position as far as the standings go, where they're not trying to fall too far down in the West play-in tournament. That's next right here on the 76ers podcast, on the 76ers Locked On 76ers podcast on the Locked On network.
All right, NBA fans, are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? Then you need to try the award-winning app Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. I love this, and we know you will too, right? So this is kind of easy, y'all. Like in Prize Pick, you have pick 2 to 4. You can pick 2 to 5 players, and you have an over/under on their projection, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry, and it's just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. Is that easy, right? Prize Pick is safe and offers fast withdrawals, right? That's why I like that. Because, you know, sometimes you go do stuff and like, nah, you can't take your money out yet. Like, bro, I'm not trying to lose any money. I want to take
I need my cash.
Yeah, I need my cash. I need my cash, right? So users can take the over-under on player 1 combined with the over-under on player 2 in the same entry, right? So for a limited time, Prize Pick has an exclusive no-brainer of an offer for all of our users. Users get $50 for free if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single points, but you must use the code NBA. That's right. It's an exclusive offer available to Locked On fans. Sign up today and use the code NBA to get $50 for free. And if a player in your first Prize Pick entry scores a single point, I'm telling y'all, do it today, people. Do it today.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast for nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. All right, Keith, we have to talk about James Harden, Russell Westbrook. A down season for Russell Westbrook coming into this one tonight. 18 points per game on average for the season, shooting just under 44% from the field. And just so many at this point, Keith, for him, follies, if you will, all year long. You mentioned the Russell Westbrook part of things for a lot of fans. The Laker fans are frustrated. They're coming at him. But in the end, you have to defend the man, and you have to be prepared. Two teammates going at it tonight between Westbrook and James Harden can't allow Russell Westbrook to get the better of the Sixers tonight in this game either.
Yeah, and yeah, you can't let them get the best of each you can't let Westbrook get the best of them. Now, you know, these are guys who, you know, they played together. They played together twice, actually, right? We know, like, they're both from the LA area. We know that when Harden, you know, Harden's first 3 years in the league, he was with OKC, with Westbrook, you know, is arguably, you know, if not the greatest, the second greatest player to play there. And the reason why I'm saying the greatest, I know Kevin Durant is a better player than him, but Westbrook has been there longer. So you know how that one goes, right? They tend to do that. But, you know, so when we look at it, you know, these guys are both competitive. I mean, James Harden, when you talk about head-to-head comparisons in the games that they played together, James Harden has averaged 25 points compared to what Russell Westbrook's 28 too, right? Harden has averaged 5.6 rebounds. Westbrook had 7.4. Now, this is crazy because when you talk about assists, both of these guys are guys who basically rack up double-digit assists, right? Well, in those games that they fared off against each other, Westbrook averaged 8.5 and Harden has averaged 6.8, right? So, it's going to be it's going to be a competitive matchup, but I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where we're going to see these two guys maybe paired on each other exclusively.
I was just about to ask you that. Right,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Because there's so many others. With Westbrook not being a great defender, will they try to hide him, if you will, on Matisse Thybulle, where Matisse Thybulle, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. And the thing about it is, like, I can see Matisse, trying to defend him or someone else. Like, the thing is, I think a lot of that's going to depend on, what his shot is like. Like, how's he starting off the game? How effective is he? And then, if he's not, then maybe we could slide Matisse and have him put out a fire elsewhere. And the good thing is, the funny thing is that we have to realize is when Matisse was a rookie, he guarded LeBron and did very well against LeBron. So, Matisse has that in the bag too. But yeah, like right now, it's like when you focus on Westbrook, and Westbrook is struggling a little bit from shooting from the field, and you're putting your best defender on him, then and who are you going to have to defend LeBron, who's arguably still the one that, well, not arguably still, because he is definitely still one of the best players in the league.
Yeah, I don't know if that matchup goes to Tobias Harris to start off, and that's probably the direction that I would go, and have Harden somewhere running around with Austin Reeves as well, and then maybe have I don't know, because Wayne Gabriel's also out there, so it will be interesting to see what the matchups are. Will there be a lot of cross matching tonight in this game between the Los Angeles Lakers? Because they do have some weapons. Austin Reeves can shoot the basketball. Wayne Gabriel is one of those energy players, and we already know about Westbrook and LeBron James and what they can potentially do. So you have to make sure you stay locked in on the defense and what you need to do as a team, help team defense, all of that. And you also need to make sure that the bench unit continues to contribute in a big way to help out this team tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. It is the atmosphere of Los Angeles. You know what it's like to be in that building, and what can transpire throughout the game as the Lakers start to get going. So you have to withstand those runs. Make sure that when LeBron James is knocking down a big three, a big breakaway transition dunk to get the crowd into it, can't get caught up in all of that. It's basketball. It happens, and you come back next dribble, next possession, and do your part. And also, as you mentioned, focus on Joel Embiid as well. But James Harden should have an opportunity tonight against whoever is defending him. Unless Avery Bradley is starting, he only played in 6 minutes. Who's going to defend? Who's going to defend James Harden? Is it going to be Russell Westbrook? Is it going to be LeBron James? Are they going to put James on? And if that's the case, then if Russell Westbrook is somewhere running around with Tyrese Maxey, we've seen so many times where Russell Westbrook has his head on the swivel because he's not paying attention to what's going on him. Next thing you know, backdoor opportunity, Tyrese Maxey using the speed, getting downhill, getting to the basket and finish. There's some favorable matchups for the Sixers tonight.
Yeah, and that's what, we're talking about Harden, we're talking about Embiid. The guy who I felt like could have a big game was Maxey. I just felt that way. Because if you focus on those other two, I feel like Maxey could take advantage of some mismatches. Tobias isn't going to get, it's going to be one of those games where Tobias may go back to like 9 to 10 shots or what have you. But I think, I know, like,
can't do that, Keith. Can't do that. He needs more shots in the flow of the game.
But here's the deal: you got to make the shots, though. Like, the thing is, what I mean. So, like, I feel like, unfortunately for Tobias, and he does probably need to get some more shots in the flow of the game, but there's not a lot of shots to go around right about now. I mean, you got a guy like Joel Embiid who's who's the MVP candidate. He's going to get the most shots. James Harden has the ball in his hands. The problem is, like when we talked about this yesterday, James is an extremely ball dominant guy. Tobias likes the ball, right? Likes to get in the rhythm and stuff. So the key for Tobias to get more shots is, he's going to be left open and on the perimeter. Like he's going to get open looks at the three, and he's going to have to bury them. Now, I know that's not his game, but if he buries them and he gets in the rhythm, then I feel like he's going to get more shots. You know what I mean?
He needs to be assertive when the opportunity presents itself. And I understand running the offense, and they do. The ball moves, and you need to, like we talked about, the 26 assists that they had on the 43 made baskets on Monday night against Miami. I keep wanting to say Toronto because it was the night before, but those assists. You're looking at a situation where, the ball needs to continue to move, and that is a Harden point. You're absolutely right, and the same with Joel Embiid. James Harden is sharing the basketball. He is getting double-digit assists. Now you have to, if you see a matchup and hey, guys, I got this one. You know what I mean? I have Austin Reeves on me. I've seen matchups where I've seen Tobias Harris, I thought, with the favorable matchup, and not be assertive enough, not be aggressive enough. And to Doc Rivers' point, what he always says about Harris, stop thinking and just go. Do that. You go out there and do that. And those 12, 13 shot attempts will be there for you if you do that as well. The catch and shoot, you're absolutely right. That's something he has to knock down. If it's not falling, do something else and get to the basket. Get to your spot when you have the ball in your hands and get that pull-up jumper from around 15, 17 feet, which he likes to do and can knock it down consistently. So he cannot have only 9 shots in the game. He is not Danny Green. He is Tobias Harris. He needs to have double-digit shot attempts. It doesn't mean it has to be 15, 18, 20. Anywhere from 10 to 12 is good, in my opinion, to have a good enough night, 5 for 12, 6 for 12, for Tobias Harris, confidently getting into the flow of the game, being assertive, aggressive, and confident in his shot-making ability against that defense.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. And again, I agree with you. I do agree with you. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's kind of sort of like, but like, what you're saying is, and I hate to repeat you, but what you're saying is, when that ball swings to you, like, you're not going to get it back. So you can't, like, when it comes to you and you're open, shoot it. Don't pass it away. Don't dribble a little bit and then pass it out, thinking somebody's going to give you, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not in the right spot. So like how like a center does, like they pass the center a ball in the post. He doesn't have he's not in the right spot. So he passes it back out to readjust, and then he gets the ball back and go back. You're not Patrick Ewing. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things, you got to get in where you fit in, so to speak. That's what you're saying. And I agree. But it's like one of those things where, it's kind of like, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like, how like when a kid is like the bench warmer and he doesn't know where that next shot is going to come from. So you got to take advantage of it. You just can't like pass it up and like, yo, I didn't get enough shots. You got to take advantage and do that. And by doing that, I think that Tobias is going to end up being in the postseason. If he does that, he's going to be one of the most vital players on this team. We're going to be like, yo, he came through, because then that's going to open other things up for everyone else too.
100%. Got to, as you said, you have to get in where you fit in. And if the ball's swinging your way and you see something one-on-one spot, you're a professional scorer. Take advantage of that matchup. Take advantage of that opportunity against that defender. Keith, another one tonight, a game within the game, scoring title. 2 proud individuals, in my opinion, want that scoring title. Joel Embiid has openly talked about certain things with it. LeBron James wants everyone to pay attention to his scoring. He has said as much. We need to talk about that, how that might become a factor at some point as a smaller talking point tonight in the game within the game, as we continue next right here on Locked On 76ers. And another late night for myself, for Keith, as the Sixers are in Los Angeles. 10 o'clock start Eastern Standard Time here in Philadelphia. and it's going to be another late night. So when I get that urge after having my dinner a little bit earlier, I want a little bit of a snack, and it can't be a candy bar. It has to be the Built Bar, whether it's the Puffs, which are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow flavor type of protein bar. They are my favorite. They are not just a protein bar. They are a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate from flavors of yummy cinnamony churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. So good. These are going to be your new favorite like they are mine. All Built Bars are covered once again in 100% chocolate, real chocolate. Yes, the Puffs are included. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. So compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and a dozen of net carbs. Mint brownie, coconut almond, any of your favorites, and the one for the month, white chocolate cookies and cream. That is actually my favorite as well. So they're all delicious. Get in. If you think about a certain type of, you put two things together and make it taste good, they'll figure it out. Whatever flavor you want, I'm sure that they'll come up with it at Built Bar. They're all about the taste. They make it delicious. So go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order using promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, Keith, these two guys battling for the scoring title in the NBA. Joel Embiid has been very near to the top all season long, and he's talked about it before, and we've talked about it, where no big man, no center has won the scoring title since Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James recently surpassed Karl Malone for second all-time in scoring, and he wants to know why no one is talking about, Keith, his scoring ability. I don't know what he's hearing, but hey, whatever makes him happy, people talk about his score. How do you not talk about the second all-time scoring leader in the NBA history? But that's for a whole nother thing. Keith, does this kind of seep into tonight's game as well, where these guys are some proud players, and LeBron certainly knows the history, so does Joel Embiid. LeBron way further in his career than Embiid is. But I would have to think, and me not knowing anything specifically, I would have to think that Joel Embiid definitely wants that title, and I would imagine that LeBron James does as well.
Yeah, I mean, Joel, and I give Joel a lot of credit. Joel always talks about, hey, if I get it, great, but it's all about the team first type of thing, right? But
right, yeah, he does.
In the back of his head, in the back of his mind, like, if he wasn't focused on winning the scoring title at this juncture of the season, then I think something's wrong with him. I mean, that's the competitiveness, that's the aggressiveness, that's what they do. And you look at it, like, for both of them, like, I mean, you look at LeBron James. LeBron James isn't a young guy anymore, right?
Yeah.
LeBron James is getting up there in age. He's been playing in the league for X amount of years. And for him to win the scoring title, I mean, this is LeBron's 19th season. He's 37 years old, right? He won the scoring title in 2000 in the 2007-2008 season. Now, it will be great for him and for his legacy for him to win it now. I mean, he's averaging 30 points a game. You look at Joel, he's averaging 29.8 points a game. LeBron's number one, Joel's number two. I mean, I think that this is like the big subplot of the season. I mean, it's not subplot of the season. This is the big sub story of this game, because when you look at it, think of all the hype that we had on when he went up against Nikola Jokic. It was like, hey, MVP, these two guys who are the big.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to LA. We're going to LA, a place where LeBron James is at, the Lakers. You got Joel Embiid, who averages 30 points against the Lakers for a career. Oh, this is going to be the talk of the town. This is what everyone's focused on about this game. So, it's a lot to look at. And I think for LeBron, I mean, you look at it, the team isn't really playing well. But to be someone at 37 years old and win a scoring title, and then your other scoring title came when you were 23. That says a lot about durability, you know?
Yeah, no question. No question. So it is a fun little side topic there to discuss and kind of focus on as you watch the game. But in the end, I absolutely want to see the 76ers pick up another W. They're 45th of the season with 11 games to play. So that would be 10 after tonight. And an opportunity once again for them to make up some ground as they keep pace with Miami and Milwaukee and Boston, who was caught up with them as well. And again, as we talked about, man, in the NBA standings right now, where the Lakers, just taking a quick peek here, the Lakers are right there in front of the Pelicans for the 10th spot. So they need their W's, they need their wins. So should be a fun one there tonight, man. And I look forward to, of course, reading you, Enquirer.com, and what you have to say. And selfishly, I'll have the chance to talk to you as we get chance to catch up again tomorrow. And kind of recap the game, looking ahead to the LA Clippers for the next matchup in Los Angeles. Hey, Keith, don't have too much fun out there without me in LA, man. I'm a little jealous, got to be honest.
Yeah, hey, I wish your boy Lance was out there. So playing like it's like, nah, just with you. Nah.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, man, Keith, always fun, man. And for everyone out there, for sure, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be recapping the game tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers. How they won it, how they lost it, what went right, what went wrong. I think we'll be talking more about what went right in this one. Thanks for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NBA, Locked On experts covering the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday in less than 30 minutes. We try to get close to that number. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Keith, have a great time out there, man. Be safe, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Thanks, man.
All right, talk to you tomorrow, D. Peace.
You got it.